1. Introduction paragraph. If we really are what we eat, then we as consumers deserve to know what we are eating, or at least have the tools to figure it out. The sources illustrate to us as consumers that even food labels can be confusing as marketing terms evolve/change, while the actual science behind the food remains the same. The main issues presented by the source material highlight and emphasize the importance of thinking critically about how food is processed, prepared, and marketed when making choices about what we eat. Relying on labels and marketing alone leaves consumers confused and vulnerable when making important choices about food and nutrition. Okay, I almost said decisions there for choices, but we are going to keep choices. So let's go ahead and go through the checklist here. We already went over the thesis statement, so we know that it is present and it is clear. And we can hope that I maintain this consistency with the thesis throughout the rest of the essay. So let's go ahead and look at the very top where we see the hook. A hook is an attention-grabbing statement to get the reader to, cue in to your writing. And here I used rhetoric in such a way I was appealing to pathos, which means appealing to emotions. Okay. And the reason that one would do such a thing is because they want the reader to be persuaded to listen or feel a certain way, based on having a shared experience. And since I am speaking to other, consumers of food and food that's packaged and labeled and marketed in the United States and otherwise, this is a shared suffering that we are having. So this is me, appealing to pathos, appealing to their emotions by saying, oh my gosh, we don't have the tools to figure out what we're eating. So that's our hook. And that is using rhetoric, which is very good and on the checklist. Okay. Now, we already said the thesis was present in blue, and the subpoints for the thesis are over here in green, where it says the sources illustrate, and over on the side in purple, relying on labels. And both of these subpoints, they support the thesis, okay? They support the thesis that is the main issues presented by the source material highlight and emphasize the importance of thinking critically about how food is processed, prepared, and marketed when making choices about what we eat. Both of these align, support, and, elaborate upon what the content of the essay is going to be specifically per subpoint that supports the thesis. So we've got, some nice organization going on here. We have rhetoric, which is great. We have 2 subpoints for our thesis. Our thesis, we already cleared it with the slide before this one. And let's see, I have over here tone. All right, the tone here is, get this, it's informative, which is perfect. Okay, and that is formal by nature. The diction, very good words are used to meet the needs of this paper. I'm trying to think of something that stands out to me, but say illustrate instead of something more bland like show. Let's see, the word evolve. Highlight, emphasize, critical thinking, process, prepare, market, consumers, vulnerable. That's a powerful word when we're trying to get our point across. Choices, important, nutrition, food. Okay, so we can see that a lot of words chosen for this are definitely tailored for this topic by the writer of the essay trying to be as effective as possible, which it is. Okay. So we know that we have diction down. Tone. We just discussed that. Is this organized? Yes. We have a hook. We have a thesis. And despite the fact that the thesis is in between its two subpoints, it is still equally as effective as it would have been in another instance. I actually originally, when I wrote the essay and timed out my 30 minutes and my 5 minutes of pre-writing, I had, the thesis, the main issues presented by the source material, before the subpoint 1, the sources. And then I decided, it's more effective if I slip that thesis in the middle. So just know that thesis statements do need to be focused, clear, accurate, and maintained throughout any academic paper. But you really can go back and craft your thesis to make it fit your paper perfectly. So just always keep that in mind. So next we are going for, let's see, the tone we already said was informative, informal. Support and evidence from both sources. Yes, we do. Okay. And is this organized? We already discussed that. Yes. Syntax, errors. Okay, we'll go for this. So, in your essay, the main goal regarding syntax and grammar is they want you to be able to compose or construct effective, pieces of writing or sentences that are, for the most part, null and void of mistakes and errors in standard written English. So, use the English language structure bootcamp course material. If you do have that, if you have a bundle or something like that, that's great. That goes through each competency one by one so you can review your English language structure skills. But just know that you need to be employing all of the rules and conventions in standard written English when you are composing your essay. So we have gone through and noted that, okay, we're not seeing misplaced modifiers, we're not sentences, we're not seeing comma splices, incomplete sentences because they don't have subjects. I don't see any spelling errors, and I do not see any errors in punctuation or grammar, so we're good to go on syntax and structure errors. Is this organized? Absolutely. This is how the paper is going to roll out. So you will see that as we go through the process. So yes, yes, and yes. Introduction paragraph definitely would earn a 6.